The funds from the sale of town-owned land, town property, i.e. and specifically the Haverhill Street property, which we basically took in trade with Reading Municipal Light Department when we formulated the swap in order for them to build their power station down behind the DPW site and recycling center. We acquired property at 24 Haverhill Street. The proceeds from that sale were $276,200. We're restricted as to what, to specific uses as to what we can expend these monies for. They cannot necessarily go into the general operating expenses. It was the feeling of the board, actually the unanimous feeling of the board, that these types of money, which are basically windfalls, one-time events happening, should go towards those types of expenditures, capital expenditures, which have a long-lasting effect and towards quality of life in the community. One of the areas which we have been unable to address on a timely and needed basis is the sidewalk program. The previous board prior to April and the current board feels very strongly that in order to get this sidewalk program, as far as adding sidewalks and maintaining and rehabilitating the sidewalks that are in town, are paramount issue and priority, and the use of these funds would be very good in going towards that. We are very cognizant of the fact that money is tight. We are very cognizant of the fact between now and April, prioritization of funding may fluctuate a little bit, but we are also very adamant in the fact that we want to get this sidewalk program going, up and running again, for a whole host of reasons. Public safety reasons, transportation in relation to the school and busing, or if we're going to be requiring kids to walk greater distances, we have to fill in some of these gaps. We have to make the current sidewalks safer, and in order to do that, we want to institute this program as soon as possible. Now, whether we do this as far as taking this $276,000 and spending it on upgrading the sidewalks as far as that money will go, or whether we're going to use it as seed money to bond a sidewalk program, will yet to be determined. The board felt very strongly that we want to earmark these funds tonight, now, so that at future town meetings, whether it be November, whether it be April, the following April, that the word is sent forward that this town meeting feels as strongly as we do in relation to getting this program up and running again to address this issue, and it would be a very good use of these funds. Additionally, the majority of the board felt that a contribution towards the skateboard park, which is being proposed, is a worthy cause, and again, something which would have long-lasting effect and affect a certain segment of the community in generations to come. And we felt that the $26,200 of the $276,200 would be an appropriate amount. I know that the organizations out there have raised in excess of $35,000 and are looking to raise some more in order to get this program up and running by the springtime. This would certainly enhance the apparatus which is going to be in this skateboard park, and we thought this would be an appropriate time to do that now, because that park will be, from what I understand, online by the springtime. So in order to do that, we felt now would be the appropriate time. And that's the rationale.
Mr. Valeri, under our bylaws, you have 5 minutes. You have used 4 of them. You have 1 minute to wrap up your comments.
If I may defer the 1 minute until after the Finance Committee gives their recommendation and rationale,
Sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Sturtevant, is your motion ready? Mr. Sturtevant.
Point of order. Can I respond to what Mr. O'Leary said?
Well, right now, the chair has recognized Mr. Sturtevant for the...
Mr. Moderator,
I just had a question on the restrictions, Mel Webster at 51 Spruce Road. I had a question on the restrictions of the money, how it can be spent. We just heard the police department, building committee, say it's about $2 million short. And here's $276,000. Why don't we put it there instead? I'm all for the skateboard park, I'm all for sidewalks, but I know they're going to come back in November and ask for more money for that police building. So why don't we take the money we have, if we can, and use it for that? We need a new school, or we need a renovated Batchelder school. Those things seem to me to be priority over some of the things we're talking about.
Mr. Sturtevant, you have the floor. No,
I don't mind responding.
no, you want to respond? Okay, go ahead, respond.
The funds can be utilized for capital expenditures which you can bond for more than 5 years. And then theoretically, again, the police station we're going to bond for more than 5 years, I can guarantee you that. That's true. But the police station project was done on a debt exclusion vote outside of the parameters of the general operating budget, so that would not impact the general operating expenses of the town. Again, this is a one-shot windfall from the sale of town-owned land, and we felt that in order to facilitate other projects which get passed off and put off year after year, it would be important to address it in this particular fashion. So in answer to the question, I guess we could, but I don't know that we're inclined to do so at this point, because my guess is we're going to have to probably come for another debt exclusion vote on the remainder and whatever that figure is. So we're cognizant of it, but we still think that these funds should be utilized in that fashion. Thank you.
Mr. Sturtevant.
Mr. Moderator, I move to postpone the main motion under Article 3 indefinitely. As a Finance Committee, we're... Oh, sure. Thank you. Thank you. Normally, everyone knows capital expenditures are considered in April, along with all other capital expenditures. Although the funding source for this would be a little bit different than the normal capital, we would prefer to take this into consideration with all other items of the like. In consideration to what the gentleman just said, there are other needs of the town that aren't being dealt with tonight. We'd just like to deal with it then. The fiscal situation in the state is just getting worse. The funding and the revenue at that level is dramatically changing, going down, especially in light of events a couple of weeks ago. And under that, with the tax cuts, we just feel it would be more appropriate to wait until April with this article. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sturtevant. Mr. Romano.
So, a question as to the funds that are being requested. Have specific sidewalks being designated already, or is this a general fund? And I was wondering if one particular road, Chestnut Street, if anything had been designated along that as part of the money that was going to be spent on sidewalks.
Mr.
There-
O'Leary.
The Department of Public Works, and also in conjunction with the Sidewalk Committee, which meets sporadically, does have a prioritization as far as, particularly the Department of Public Works, as to which sidewalks are in need of repair and where monies will be spent first. However, depending upon the program we undertake, whether we're just going to take this $276,000 and expend it, pay cash for everything, or whether we're going to institute a bonding program where this will fund the debt service on us, which will get far more done, will determine what's going to hit first. As far as the specifics, that the Department of Public Works has it, and depending upon how much money is available will determine where the money will be spent first. And that program that's established will determine those.
Mr.
So if I
Romano, you
understand-
have a follow-up question?
Yes, so if I understand correctly, the answer is no specific sidewalks have been designated. Am I correct? That is correct.
At this
is it not?
particular time, there is no specific sidewalks designated until the program is in place.
Ms. Mullen. Please state your name and address, ma'am.
Rita Mullen, 185 Chestnut Street.
Sure. That's what it's there for.
First of all, I'd like to thank the selectmen and the town administrator for at least putting this article forward tonight. Thank you.
I don't think the people in the back of the hall will ever be able to see that.
Okay. What is being proposed tonight is to take approximately $26,200 out of the sale of the Haverhill Street property and complete the construction of a skate park at Ipswich River Park. The monies from the sale of town-owned land must go towards capital items and not annual budget items, so we felt this was a fair request to ask for this tonight. Permission to build a skate park at Ipswich River Park has already been approved 3 years ago by the Selectmen, the Land Utilization and Recreation Committee. So that part, the groundwork has already been done to say it's okay to be done there. It will be at Ipswich River Park. The monies to date, $35,000 have been raised. The first donation coming from the youth of the town. that had a dance. They did bottle drives. We've had youth rock band concerts, all done by the young kids of the town. There was a walkathon, clean up North Reading walkathon, which people cleaned up the town and raised money. We've had auctions, raffles, and very generous citizens of the town and the businesses have contributed to this. Why should we build it? Certainly for safety issues. We want to keep the youth from skating off the streets, off the library, and off the businesses. It's proven that skate parks are safer than streets, curbs, and sidewalks. Parks are better maintained and more conducive to skateboarding than streets are. The need for the school-age kids to have a place other than kids that play traditional sports is very, very important. And a youth park gives those kids probably between 8 and 18 a place to go other than playing football, softball, soccer, and the things that maybe don't have any interest with them. Why build it also? To show the youth of the town that hard work does pay off, and believe me, the kids that I've met in the past 3 years maybe were kids that you wouldn't have walked up to and thought were going to do fundraisers and whatever. They've been outstanding. They've helped with every benefit we've had, and it's been their idea on most of the things what to do. So I'm extremely grateful to the youth of the town of North Reading that have helped raise the money today and their parents. We want to show the youth that hard work does pay off and your goals will help achieve success. We want to show the kids that good things do happen to good people, and we want to start to catch the kids being good. When will it be built? As soon as you vote yes tonight, the process will be started to pick a design, a layout, and it should be completed by the year 2002, presumably this summer. Who will use it? Again, probably kids 8 to adults. How will you know it will be built with tonight's vote? Because $65,000 will definitely purchase the subsurface, the skating surface, the fencing, the ramps, the equipment, and the installation. And we've also been approached by some contractors and businesses for in-kind donations, which would allow for more equipment and ramps. And why not rely only on fundraising and not approve this tonight? I guess the reason is this. Because the youth that started raising the funds 3 or 4 years ago are now out of school. We need to show the youth that it can be done in their youth. Because every year we wait, an accident is maybe waiting to happen out there. The kids are going to skate on the streets and the curbs, which is very dangerous. Because the sale of town-owned land is supposed to go towards projects like this. Back when I kind of first became involved in recreation, the Clark Park received some funding from federal revenue sharing. And federal revenue sharing I like to think of as like this project, that it's money that's supposed to be spent towards something, a one-time event that's supposed to be spent to something that you can see and see in town and notice, and it's a good thing. If you look at the Clark Park, and I think many of you have been there, Clark Park was built maybe 15 plus years ago with federal revenue sharing money. And since then, it not only created a beautiful park and a place for everybody all over town to go, but it has also created a group of people, youth and adults, that got involved in the political process. Years ago, a lot of the people maybe didn't go to town meeting, maybe they only paid attention to their neighborhoods. What it did is it brought out a group of people that care about the town and realized that if you work hard, they got involved in the politics in town and they paid attention to things. And today they're important citizens of our town. I believe this would be the same thing. I've met 10 to 12 incredible people that have served in this committee that have worked for 3 years. The group now is 10 or 12 people, and we had people before that have never been involved in politics and came out of the woodworks and now understand that you do have to pay attention to things in town. And they're a wonderful group, and I think it would be important to also endorse with the kids and the adults that they've worked hard for 3 years and now it's going to pay off. And because, last and not least, our kids deserve it. Please vote yes on Article 3. Thank you from the youth in North Reading.
Can we have the lights back up, please? The lady at the microphone. Okay, if you could please state your name and address, ma'am.
My name is Nancy Garnham, and I live on 25 Eames Street. I'm wondering, this skate park, what kind of land is being taken? Is it environmental land? Is it forest land? There seems to be a lot of land being taken here. I have nothing against a skate park, but if you build it and take all good land and put a park up, when it's not in style anymore to skateboard, it's going to be still there and the land's going to be gone. And also, That's just about all I have to say. Thank you.